Hello everyone, this is Sam from Language Atlas, and in this video I'd like to show you the French A1 vocabulary Anki deck. In this video, we will go over three things. First, I'd like to show you the French A1 course structure. Second, I'd like to show you the French A1 course content, and I will do so by looking at three Anki decks within the overall French A1 vocabulary Anki deck. And third, I'd like to show you some brief editing options. So let's get started with the first point, which is to show the course structure. Now, normally you double click on an Anki deck to open it. However, I've already done so, as you can see right over here. Inside the French A1 vocabulary Anki deck, there are 9 chapters. Pronouns, conjunctions, verbs, nouns, adjectives, adverbs, prepositions, determiners, and numbers. Now, if you go to chapter 4 nouns, you can see there's a little plus icon in front of it. If I click on it, you can see that there are 20 subdecks. They range from academia and intellect, animals, all the way to time, maths, and numbers and transportation. And what I've done is that I've looked at all the nouns and I've categorized them based on theme. So if you wish to learn clothing and fashion, you can do so. If you wish to learn more about materials and substances, you can do so. If you wish to learn more about transportation, you can do so. This is incredibly handy for you if you want to learn vocabulary thematically. So that was my first point, to show you the course structure. Now I'd like to go to the second point, which is to show the course content. And as I mentioned before, I will look at 3 Anki decks. There will be chapter 4 nouns, home, chapter 5 adjectives, and chapter 3 verbs. Now the reason I'm doing this is that there's simply not enough time to go over all 9 chapters and all 9 decks, and all the decks and all the cards inside those 9 chapters and the decks. However, I do believe that just by showing you these 3 decks, you can get a great image of what it's like to use this French A1 vocabulary Anki deck. So let's get started with home, and I will use the first, and I'll show you the first one. So right over here, we have a French sentence with 2 underscores. Over here, underneath it, we have the English translation. The floor is made of wood. And the floor is bolded and underlined. And this is the word that goes over here. And it's your job to know what the floor is in French. Underneath that, we see picture. And this picture is a visual representation of the French sentence. Now, why is this here? Many studies have shown that if you have a visual representation, an image, it's much easier for people to grasp what they're learning. It's much easier to learn the sentences, the vocabulary. And of course, it's just a handy, useful tool as well. It helps me a lot. So, what is the floor in French?
Le sol est en bois. Le sol, un sol. Les sols, des sols.
Great. So I like to begin with this area over here, which I like to call sentence area. You see, we have the French sentence with the answer that we were looking for in blue. Why is that? French is a gendered language, masculine and feminine. And all masculine nouns in this Anki deck are in blue, and all feminine nouns are in pink. This will help you a lot when it comes to memorizing the gender of nouns, which is incredibly important when you're learning a Romance language such as French. Now, underneath it, we have the IP notation of the French sentence. And underneath that, we have the English translation of the French sentence. Now, the IP notation is here to help you when it comes to pronouncing French sentences and French words. I think it's incredibly useful, and I urge you to have a good look at it and perhaps see if it helps you as well. If you click on this, you can hear the audio.
Le sol est en bois.
If you go to the second area, we can see that this is a singular noun area. So we have the sol in its definite form, le sol, and we have it in the indefinite form. Underneath that, we have the IP notation. Over here, we have the English translation, and we click on this, we hear the audio.
Le sol, un sol.
In the third area, we have the plural noun area. So you have the noun in its plural form, you have the IP notation, and you have the English translation, of course, plural form. Click on this, we hear the audio.
Les sols, des sols.
Wonderful. Let's do another one. He has to find a flat to rent.
Il doit trouver un appartement à louer. L'appartement, un appartement. Les appartements, des appartements.
So, same setup that we've seen before. Sentence, the answer in blue, singular, plural. But what if the noun is feminine? Let's have a look at this sentence. The window was open.
La fenêtre était ouverte. La fenêtre, une fenêtre. Les fenêtres, des fenêtres.
So what we see right over here is that if a noun is feminine, it will be shown in pink. This will really help you when it comes to learning the gender of nouns. Blue nouns masculine, pink nouns feminine. She turned the key in the lock. The key.
Elle a tourné la clé dans la serrure. La clé, une clé. Les clés, des clés.
Great. Now that was the first card type that I wanted to show you. You see some blank areas and you have to know what goes inside them. This is the second card type that I want to show you. Now we've seen this before. The floor is made of wood. But the second card type is a spelling card type. So you have to spell the correct answer. Let me do it right now for you.
Le sol est en bois. Le sol, un sol. Les sols, des sols.
So as you can tell right over here, I had the answer correctly and Anki shows it to me in green. However, what if I do not know the correct answer? Let's do it like this.
Il doit trouver un appartement à louer. L'appartement, un appartement. Les appartements, des appartements.
So, what do we see over here? I thought it was feminine, but it should have been masculine. And in the end, I made some mistakes. It should have been E, and it should not have been a D, it should have been a T. So what I had correctly, Anki shows in green. Where it incorrect, Anki shows in red. And what I was missing, Anki shows in gray. And right over here, we have the correct answer. And the E and the T are shown here in gray because that's what we were missing or had wrong. So the second card type helps you when it comes to spelling, which again is incredibly important for vocabulary. Now I could continue like this, but it would just be more typing exercises. Let's go to the second deck, which is chapter 5 adjectives. He is a famous actor. How do you say famous in French?
C'est un acteur célèbre. Célèbre. Célèbre.
So what do we see over here? Again, sentence area, singular adjective, plural adjective. So far, no surprises, but this one is going to be interesting. It is late and I feel tired. Tired.
Il est tard et je me sens fatigué. Fatigué, fatigué. Fatigué, fatigué.
This part I find very interesting, especially if you're not a native Romance language speaker. Adjectives are gendered. So right over here, I mentioned before this is a singular area. Well, this is singular masculine, this is singular feminine. And I mentioned before this is a plural area, this is plural masculine, plural feminine. So all adjectives are gendered and they are in number as well. So you have to learn all 4 forms. And what's interesting is the audio is the same. Have a look.
Fatigué, fatigué. Fatigué, fatigué.
So in audio, in what you say, they're the same, but in spelling, they differ. And again, having this right here in front of you really helps because you can see how things are written and how they sound like. Next one. This is amazing.
C'est étonnant. Étonnant, étonnante. Étonnant, étonnante.
And again, we see the same thing, singular and plural, but this time we hear a difference in pronunciation and we see it in the IPA notation as well. That was that for adjectives. If I were to continue long enough, we would get to the spelling exercise, which is right over here. Let me have a look at the third one, which is chapter 3 verbs. I'll miss you. How to say miss?
Tu vas me manquer. Manquer.
Now, this is quite an interesting thing because all the verbs that are in this deck are in the full verb form, also called the infinitive. Why is this? Once you know the infinitive, you can conjugate it, you can do little different things with it, you can put it in different tenses. But the most important thing is that you know what the verb is like in the infinitive form. So everything you see here is in the infinitive form. You need to include your signature in your emails. To include.
Il faut inclure votre signature dans vos courriels. Inclure.
Sentence area, verb area. They are ready to dance all night.
Ils sont prêts à danser toute la nuit. Danser.
And if I were to continue long enough, I would get to the typing exercises, which is over here. Now, those were the 3 decks that I wanted to show you. Now I'd like to go to my third point, which is show you some brief editing options. And I'd like to show you how to regulate the amount of cards you see per day. If I click on this little icon over here and I click on options, see there's a pop-up window. It says daily limits, new cards per day, maximum reviews per day. And here you can change how many new cards you see per day. I can change this from 20 to 50, for example, and I can change the reviews per day as well. So this is how many new cards you see per day. This is how many reviews you do per day. And the review is just something you've done before, a review. Increase it, the numbers increase. I can decrease it, and the numbers decrease. So that was it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. You can get the deck at languageatlas.com. I hope you have a great French language learning journey. I wish you the very best, and I'll put all the links in the comments and description area. Once again, have a good day. Good luck with learning French. Goodbye.